ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। That's what happens when I take so much of break for whatever reason. The figures have reversed. When we started, it was 65, 69. Now today it is 16, 17. Anyway, we saw in the first Mundaka about what is Paravidya, what is Brahman, and how to gain, how to know that Brahman. There are two ways of communicating Brahman, not describing Brahman. Okay? It is not something to be described for a teacher to communicate. One is called Tatastha Lakshana and another is called Swarupa Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means where you can indirectly communicate through something. Connected to something, you can talk of Brahman. That from whom the creation is born and sustained and dissolved. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayante visamvishanti, tad vijignasasva, tad brahmeti. That is a tatastha lakshana with reference to creation, connected to creation. Yathornanavi srujate grunnate va, yatha pruthivyam oshadaya sambhavanti. यथा सतः पुरुषात् केशलोमानि तथा अक्षरात् संभवन्ति यह विश्वम. That is tatasya lakshana, indirectly. Another way of communication is directly communicate. That is called swarupa lakshana. Okay, so this is now the Mundaka is going to talk in the second Mundaka, first section, both Tataswarupa Lakshana as well as Tatastha Lakshana. In the first mantra, it starts by saying Tadetat Satyam. That is Satyam. That is Satyam means Trikala Abadita, absolute Satyam. Later on, it will be said, it is also Satyam. Tadetat Satyam, Yani Karmani, Kavayo Vadanti. So all these yajnas are also Satyam. That Satyam word there, it is used as a relative Satyam, Vyavaharik Satyam. Here it is absolute Satyam. That is that which cannot be negated at any given time. That which is not at any given time. That which was, is and will be, past, present, future, is Satyam. Tadetat Satyam. Okay. What it is? Now Sarupa Lakshana. Yatha sudiptat pavakat vispulingaha sahasrashah prabhavante sarupa. यथा अक्षराद विविधाः सौम्याः भावाः प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैव अपीयन्ति. Just as yatha sudiptat pavaka. Pavaka means fire. From well lit fire, sahasrashah, so many sparks are born. Tatha aksharat vividha bhava. So also from aksharam brahma, vividha bhava, all such bhava means that beings, both types, sentient and insentient being, Chetan and Jada, are born, Prajayante, they are born, and Tatraivacha Pravliyanti, they dissolve again back into the same Vastu. Okay? Yatha Sudiptat Pavaka. Okay, now what does it mean here? Please understand. You know, this is the where people who don't know the Shastra, people who didn't have a Shastric teacher who knew the Parampara, who has not studied in the tradition, and they didn't get the vision, they say, the spark of consciousness. We are the spark of consciousness. And they quote Gita ji also. You know, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Oft quoted shloka. So we are Amsha. हिंदी में सब महात्मा बोलते हैं. I keep listening to them. हम सब भगवान के अंश है. So, and Bhagavan is total. So it is not, if you think Ishvara, you think of Ishvara as light, then you are certainly a spark. Okay? So, and by saying this, we are accepting the fragmentation of Ishvara. Okay? और वस्तु भगवान के अंश है, भगवान से बिछड़ गए हैं, we have been separated from Ishvara and we have to get united with Ishvara, and you can get united after birth, and I am a small one, Jiva. Okay, that is not the contention. Please understand. This is where you should know Shastra Radhayam. And this is where you need Puja Swami Dhyana, the teacher who is a Shrotriya teacher, who knew the heart of it. The important word is Sarupa. The Sarupa means same Swarupa. What we call, and when you say Amsha Amshi Bhava, that means you are a fraction. You are Alpagna. You are Alpashaktiman. He is total or a big one. Sarva Shaktiman. Sarvagna. That is the division. And at the same time, the Shruti says, Tatha Aksharat. That which is not Naksharati iti Akshara. That which is not perishable. That which is not subject to any modification. That which is not subject to time. And that which is not subject to time, how can it be divided? How can it be fragmented? How can it be disseminated? This is not there. So contention is not the spark, but then sarupaha is important. Okay? Sahasrasha, many thousands are born. But understand, the point is sarupaha means all of them are nothing but fire. Okay? We use the word spark. They seem to come and go But what comes and goes is a upadhi. The part of the charcoal or combustible material, whatever it was, but not the fire. Okay? So it seems that there are many consciousness are born and dies. And it seems that the consciousness is divided in many. It is not born. It doesn't die. What is born is Sukshma Sharira, and even Sukshma Sharira also is not born. But you can say Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira are born. Consciousness is on the day. But when you say that forms are born, then there is a sense. It is felt that fire is divided. Whenever the example is given, all the aspect of the example do not fit into the vastu. Tatparya is not there that consciousness gets divided. Here, for the spark to burn, that combustible material, because of which there is a fire, is something that can be divided. One thing. Secondly, you need the space for the spark to get separated from fire. And third is that there is a fire and something else, combustible material. No. There is, when you say spark, when the spark says, I am spark, and that is big fire, that aham amsha of the spark is nothing but fire. It is one fire. Here, we are not talking of division of consciousness. There is nothing, something else. There is no dvitiyam, because of which, like fire, the consciousness manifests. And there is no space for consciousness to get divided. Okay? It is in the spark and fire example, there is a space, but not it is in case of consciousness. That is non-dual, one. Okay? So the mind, or you can say antakaranam, in which the consciousness obtains, can be divided, but not the consciousness per se, not the fire per se. So there is a difference technically called upadhi difference. Like when there are various spots are born, it appears that various spot spaces are born. But it is not the birth of a space, it is a birth of a pot, creates an appearance of the space that is being born in many. There is no many spaces are born. Okay? So, and when the pot is broken, tatraiva chapiyanti, the pot space is an apparent birth and destruction of tatraiva apiyanti, they dissolve into it. When the pot is broken, the so-called pot space get merged into total space. This is where avidya comes in. To take myself from the stand to identify or to know myself from the standpoint of view of the upadhi, I become a small individual, whereas I am, what I said that I am is consciousness. And when Ishvara says I am, that is also consciousness. The birth and the death is an apparent thing. Na jayate, na mriyate. There is no birth, there is no death. The death is physio-psycho-complex, and therefore there makes an appearance of birth separate from the total consciousness. Just as the combustible material breaks and it appears that there is a birth of something which is separate from separate from the fire, but there is no separate birth from the fire. Okay? So one fire is called spark, and another fire is called total fire, but it is fire. So one consciousness is called Ishvara, and the another consciousness is called Jiva, and there are many Jivas. That is not the Tatparya of mantra. Tatparya is that there is one non-dual consciousness, there is space that appears to divide them, is like the pot. So that is mithya. Space itself is mithya, and the division caused by the space, they are also equally mithya. So nothing can divide. It exists, the division exists from the experience, from the standpoint of mind, but not from the standpoint of the consciousness. Sarupaha. Then what is the nature of consciousness? It is one homogeneous whole consciousness is talked about here, Brahman. So the second mantra is Divyokhyamurtah Purushaha Savahya Hyajaha Apranohyamana Shubbraha Hi Aksharat Paratah Paraha. Listen, there are so many words that are used to communicate Brahman. Swarupatah is a Divyaha, Amurtaha, Purushaha, Bahya Abhyantaraha, Ajaha, Apranaha, Amanaha, Shubhraha, Aksharat, Parataha, Paraha. Why there are so many words are used? Because there are many conclusions. It is confused in many ways. There is multifold confusion about Brahman, means myself. Understand, we are not talking of some Brahman somewhere there. There is manifold confusion about myself, and so it is said, this is not Brahman, this is not you. And the first word is Divyaha Amurtaha. Divyaha. Divya means alaukika. What is alaukika? Divi swatmani bhava iti divyaha. What does it mean? Dyotanvan. Divya means that which is self-effulgent, that which is self-revealing, that which does not require any light, any illumination to reveal itself. That word Divya is explained in this mantra, which we often chant while doing Karpura Arti. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agni. That is what it is, Divya. And then tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That is Divya, a Purusha. That is a alaukika. In other words, you don't require any agency to establish its existence. Understand this. To establish an existence of a name and form, you require agency of the eyes, pramana vyapar. To establish the existence of a sound, you require ears. But to establish that Brahman is, you don't require anything. I is self-revealing, self-existent. Even when we say Vedanto Nama Upanishad Praman, to know Brahman, Vedanta is a means of knowledge. You have to study Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Vigachet Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. We said so in the second Mundaka of the first chapter, second chapter of the first Mundaka. No, Shastra does not, you see, this is where you have to understand the context. in which the teacher is talking. We say you need to study Shastra to reveal Brahman, and at the same time I am saying you don't need Shastra to reveal Brahman. Shastra does not reveal Brahman. Shastra reveals the fact that self-revealing I is Brahman. Okay? It is not that unknown Vastu is revealed. Shastra doesn't say, hey, this is Brahman. They say, hey, what you know as Jiva is Brahman. The Swarupa of a self-existence Vastu, which was taken as something else than what it is. That is being revealed. That is why it is Tattvamasi. You are that. What does it mean you are that? That doesn't say Brahman is some Agnata Gnapakam Shastra Pramanam na. Gnatasya epi Gnapakam. That which is already known is revealed. And that which is known is also Svatasiddham to us. That Brahman is known, self-revealing fact. I am. You don't require anything. I know I am. Other day I had told you, even if the doctor says, no, you are dead. The fellow says, I am. I know I am. I don't require a doctor to tell me that I am or not. So Brahman is self-revealing. But self-revealing I, that is a reason of confusion also, one way. Because the rope is revealed as there is something. Then there is possibility of taking it as a snake. If the fellow had not seen the rope at all, and then he would have just walked over, even if it was a snake, real snake. But then there is something. That is in twilight, not daylight, nor even darkness. In twilight, there is a possibility of confusion when the thing is not known clearly. Brahman is a self that is self-revealing. That is where the confusion comes, that aham asmi, that I am. Who am I is a problem. The Shastra doesn't reveal the existence of Brahman, the self. Shastra reveals the nature of the self. So Shastra is not Agnatartha Gnapakam, but it is something not, they don't reveal something which is unknown to me. It reveals something which is known to me, but known otherwise. You may say, if it is known, you don't need Shastra. But yes, you don't need Shastra, but then you need Shastra because it is known otherwise. So here, there is a process of, in a way, negation also. What is this? Divyaha, Dyotanavan. It is by itself. Brahman is not Shastra Pramana Siddham. The existence of Brahman is not established by Shastra. The existence of Brahman is self-revealing. I am. But Sarupa is revealed by the Shastra. Therefore, the word, is called Swayam Jyoti. Sometimes you will hear this. Jyotihi. It is light. What does it mean, light? You don't require any agency of a light to see the light. That's all it is. Don't imagine some light. And when I say Divya, listen, this is Shastra. You should be clear about it. When I say it is Divya, that means I know. Jyotihi means self-revealing. Not knowing this, not studying from a traditional acharya, Shrotriya acharya, they say, in meditation, I saw the light of consciousness. It is not one of the light of like many lights, you had one light, lighting the lamp. So that light of consciousness was sin, and I saw consciousness. No, big no, please. It is not light. When again I repeat, when the word light is used, it means you don't need any other light to see the light. You don't need any other means of knowledge to know the Brahman that I am. Divya, Dyotanavan, Swayam Jyotihi, etc. So, they are in meditation, I saw the light. And Brahman, no, that is not Brahman. It is some subjective, some pratibhasik experience, nothing else. You see that, then Divyaha Amurtaha. And that self-revealing Brahman is formless. What does it mean, formless? Since it is in connection with the previous mantra. When it is sparks, thousands of sparks are born. A formless vastu can never ever be divided. If it is divided, that division is apparent. The formless space can never ever be divided. It appears to be divided as a pot spaces, but the division of pot spaces is only with reference to, is an apparent division. There is no real division in pot, in space. The apparent division is caused by pots. Okay? When one takes it really, that from one homogeneous, they gave adjective also to consciousness. One homogeneous, pure consciousness, all the jivas are born like the spark of fire, and we have fire of consciousness within you. Each one of us is the spark of consciousness. It is like saying, from one homogeneous space, many spaces are born. And they say that inside pot is space, outside pot is space. The wall of the pot is nothing but clay, which is ultimately born out of space. Akashad Vayuhu, Vayor Agni, Agner Apaha, Adbyaha, Prithvi. So it is inside space, outside space, in between also is space. Still the fellow says, many spaces are born because there is a space there. They have a space inside. There is not filled up with the knowledge. There is no division. Amurtaha. It has no color. It may, in other words, it is that form which reveals all the forms. Okay? Consciousness reveals all the forms. And he further says, Divyo Kyamurtah Purushaha. Therefore, he says, Bahya Bhyantarah Yajaha. There is inside Abhyantara, outside also. And that inside-outside division, we'll see further, in the further section of this Mundaka, will come. Like the inside-outside space division are caused by the walls of the pot. Here, inside-outside divisions are caused by body. That is also Brahman. Like from Akash, Vayu is born, Vayu from Agni, Agni to Jalam, Jalam to Prithvi, and that is clay. So also here, there is nothing inside, outside, and the cause of division is also Brahman. Understand? Now here again, I would like to bring to your notice, be clear. Brahman is there inside. Dive within in the seat of meditation. They talk like this. You have to dive in the meditation inside. There is a mantra also. That Vijignash Bhrugur Vaivaruni Varunam Pitaram Abhisasa that Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayante Yena Jatani Jivanti Yat Prayante Visam Vishantiti Isabha Arg Satyam Gnanamanantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman So Oshnute ka sarvan kamaan saha brahmana vipaschiteti. Brahman is satyam gnanam anantam. One who knows Brahman within the cave of heart. Yoveda nihitam guhaya. That is true. There are so many mantras which tells that Brahman is in the cave of the heart. It is within. Or Gita Shloka, I suppose some of you can remember, know that. Sarvasya chaham radisannivishtaha matta smritir gnanam apohanam cha sarvasya radisannivishtaha aham. Sarvasya cha aham radisannivishtaha. Sarvasya radisannivishtaha aham asmi. Either way, I am there in the heart of everyone. Somebody translate. Sarvasya cha. The chai means tea. I am the tea for everybody, which is residing in the heart. Chaham means chai aham. Sarvasya. Morning chai aham. Waking bell chai aham. No. Tatra upalabdhi sthanatva. You can recognize Brahman in heart, in buddhi guha. Therefore, it is said it is there. Otherwise, it is inside as well as outside. Okay? Though Brahman is gneyam for a seeker, something to be known, how to know, where to know, then he said, you know its manifestation in your heart. Once you know that, you can see it is inside as well as outside. It is there everywhere. Okay? Ajaha divyokya murto purushaha bahyabhyantaraha ajaha. Ajaha means unborn. Unborn means it is neither born out of itself nor through someone, either through other or through itself. There is no janma. Okay? That means, what does it mean? This, if you say sparks are born and the sparks dissolve, tatraiva piliyan, that means there is no birth and no death of the spark. That combustible material is separated and it gets back into the fire. Suppose the huge fire, sparks rise above and they fall back into it. But then it is not the fire that is born and it is not the fire that falls back, dissolves. Fire is there. It is unborn. So also, as I said, Tatparya is not birth of the Amsha in the previous mantra. Not many are born out of the spark, or fire. Tatparya is Sarupa. Everything else is nothing but fire. Sarupa. It was fire, it is fire, and it will be fire. So, if there is nothing born, ajaha. If the sparks are born and are dissolved over there, if that is true, we are the sparks of consciousness separated from Ishvara. then there is no birth. When there is a birth and death, there is no birth, no death. Apranaha, Yamanaha, Shubhraha, Aksharat, Paratah Parataha, Paratah Paraha. Apranaha. There is, pranaha means no karmendriya. That force which gives energy to the whole body, that is not born. Amanaha. It is free from mind. It is free from thoughts. Therefore, it is beyond thought. Therefore, both the mantras you will find. Na tatra vag gacchati, na manaha, na vidma, na vijanima. You know, shrotram manaso mana. And you find this mantras also, manasa eva veditavyam. It has to be known through mind also. As though that is mind, consciousness is mind, as though, through upadhi. That mind means thought. A thought is nothing but consciousness. But what type of consciousness? Just a form. Just a name and form, ultimately superimposed on consciousness. Exactly like in a modern days, it is easy to give an example and explain. Like a movie on a screen, there is a hero, there is a heroine, there is a villain, and there are other people and few objects and etc. Whatever is nothing but all superimposition on light. As though hero, as though heroine, as though villain, as though mountain, as though car, as though friend, etc. As though fight, as though love. Thought is nothing but that. That is why it is called amanaha and shubhraha. Shubhra means pure, shuddham. Since it is, understand, shubhraha doesn't mean white. This also I would like to clarify. I grew up by learning three colors of our national flag, tricolor. White, green and orange. These are the three colors that have. And white is a color of peace. It is true in a peace, but prominently white is a color of purity, shuchi. Therefore, in all religious and spiritual traditions, born in India, and to some extent outside India also, seeker always have white clothes. Sadhus wear white, brahmacharis wear white, and some of these sadhus have throughout white, unless they take this diksha samskara of sannyasa, wear white. It is purity. It is ever pure. What is ever pure? Brahman. What is Brahman? You, I, what we call is I am ever. What does it mean? We don't need savior. You are a sinner, and therefore God has been kind enough to send his son to save you from the sin. We don't need that kind God. Neither we need that kindness born his son without a mother. The son is born, and we don't need to be saved. I am ever pure. Nitya Shuddha Buddha. Even when I take myself to be a Shuddha, papi, because of some sins, either omissions and commissions, advertently or inadvertently, whatever, because of reaction I did, out of habit I did, whatever it may be, I am ever pure. Atma is Nitya Shuddha, is untouched by any papa. Api chedasi papebhyas sarvebhyah papakritam sarvam gnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyati. Because that papi, the sinner, that I who committed sin, is superimposed ahankara. That itself is mithya. Karta is mithya. Karma is mithya, Karan is mithya, Kriya is mithya, and Karma Phalam is also mithya. How? Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmana. Aksharat Paratah Paraha. Paratah. Aksharat. Maya is also called Param. Maya is also called Akshara. The 15th chapter. Dva Vimau Purusho Loke Ksharascha Evacha Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani Kutastho Akshara Uchyate. Uttamah Purushastvanya Paramatmetyudaruta Yo Lokatre Mavishya Vibhartyavya Ishvara. That Akshara Purusha, Kshara Purusha. The Jagat is Kshara Purusha. Akshara is Maya. Maya or Mayopadi Brahman means this Ishvara. And Purushottamaha or Paramatma is Shuddha Brahma. That is what it is. Just not understanding this Kshara, Akshara and Purushottamaha. There are sampradayas. All these Vishishtadvaita, Shuddhadvaita, Advaita, all these sampradayas, they were different Purushas. And the Swami Narayan is one of them. They have Purana Purushottam and Purush Purushottam, and I can't understand how many Purushas are there. That is only one Purusha. But that is where you need to study Shastra, philosophy. And now, because of division among them, some other, because the new one has come up near Baroda, they have new Purushottam. They have new Purusha. They keep creating Purushottamas. That's not true. Understand? When you say Advitiyaha, any other thing is only apparent. As a discipline or as a religion or as a sampradaya, tremendous good work they are doing. But when you talk of a darshanam, there is a confusion. I am not dismissing, don't throw away the baby along with the bathwater. I am not dismissing. What I am telling is, when you don't have a Shastra, a Shastric teacher, then there is a confusion. Aksharat Parataha Paraha. It is the one who enlightens the Akshara. And we have seen in detail, because there are two types of reality. One that is not bound by time, and another that is bound by time. Okay? And ontologically, these two realities, that which is not bound by time, that which is beyond time, rather than these words, bound by time and beyond time, I would use the word that which causes time to be, brings in the existence. That reality ontologically is called Satya. And this reality, which is bound time, within time, subject to birth and death, that reality, ontological reality, is called Mithya. In other words, Paramarthika Satyam as well as Vyahavarika Satyam. Okay, Paramartha and Vyavahara is Satya Mithya. Okay, okay. So, therefore, Shastra uses the word twofold reality, the Akshara. Okay. So now the Brahman which creates the Jagat without undergoing any change, and that is his power called Maya, which undergoes change, but remains in a causal form. That reality is also referred as Aksharam. Okay. I would explain that. This is Swarupa of Brahman. And now that Brahman, the whole, the apparent cause of division, the pot space and total space, that pot is also space. Similarly, the apparent cause of division, this physio-psycho complex, the perceptible universe, so many things, Panch Mahabhutas and other Jivas and Jagat, and they say there are Pancha Bheda, fivefold division, Jiva Jiva Bheda, Jiva Jagat Bheda, Jeev Ishwar Veda, Jad Chetan Veda, etc. Vedas are. All these Vedas are caused by that apparent thing. And that why it is apparent? Because the cause of Veda is also Brahman. To explain that, this is next set of mantras are there from third to the end of the whole section. Etasmat jayate pranaha manas sarvendriyani cha kham vayur jyotirapah prithvi vishwasya dharini. Etasmat, from this brahmanaha sakashat. Atma, what jayate? Prana. The prana is born. Then manaha is born. Sarvendriyani is born. All senses. Kham vayu jyoti apaha prithvi. All panchamahabhutas are also the 5 bodies. Various varieties of bodies are born out of 5 elements, gross elements. And all subtle bodies are also born out of 5 subtle elements. We have seen this in Tattva-bodha. And therefore, all of them, the bodies are born. That means all the jivas that come into manifestation, the consciousness reflecting or manifesting through subtle body and that which is connected to gross body, therefore gross body becomes sentient. That means the consciousness manifesting through subtle and gross body are born. These subtle and gross body, or so-called bodies, are not independent of. They are nothing but born of Brahman. And that is Purushaha, nothing else. Okay? That is why it is called Nirvishesha. Any seem attribute in Brahman is nothing but seeming attribute. Is an apparent attribute. Or the attribute that is caused by Maya. Or an apparent attribute that is caused by apparent. It is an apparent attribute, not real division. So even the status of being Bhagavan is an attribute which is apparent. And in further details, Agnir Murdha Chakshushi Chandra Surya Dishasrotre Vag Vivrutascha Vedaha Vayuh Prano Radhem Vishwamasya Padbhyam Prithvi Yesha Sarva Bhutantara. A model is given to explain. Don't get into the model. Don't ask the logic of the model. Tatparya is not the model. Tatparya is, it was Brahman, it is Brahman, it will be Brahman. That's all. What is model? The same Brahman. When it endowed with Maya, it invokes it Maya Shakti. Then the Brahman is called Ishvara. Technically, in Shastric jargon, Maya Upadhi Brahman. Maya Upayukta Brahman is Ishvara. And that, because of Maya, it manifests as total subtle world. Samasti Sukshma Sharira. That is called Hiranyagarbha. And from that, and then when from subtle, there is a gross manifestation. The total gross manifestation is called Vishwa or Purusha. Okay? So Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, or Virat, or Purusha. Why I am telling here it is Virat, but why I am telling Purusha? Because in the Purush Suktam, Sahastra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva, Atyatishtat Dashangulam. Later on he says, that from Purusha, Devas are born, Akash is born, everything is born. That original Purusha, Purna, what you call it, a Purna Purushottam, endowed with Maya, which itself is Mithya, it gets a Mithya status of being Ishvara. When manifest as subtle through Maya, it itself gets a status of Hiranyagarbha, which is Mithya. And the Virat is also Mithya. So the whole gross Jagat is also called Purusha. So that is model is given, but that is how the creative things takes place. Any creation in this world is first in a subtle form, in a thought form. It is visualized, exactly like an architect visualizing the building, an architect visualizing the whole plan, whole design, and then the gross work comes. Any design, any product which is gross available, physically available, is always in the form of knowledge, which is subtle. Since it is in the form of knowledge, it is called Hiranyagarbha, total knowledge. Hiranya means knowledge. Don't think Hiranya means gold, okay? Bhagavan is not gold. And there was some Swami where some 5 kg of gold. He says, I am golden Baba. That you cannot call him Hiranya Baba. No. Hiranya Garbha means total knowledge, total subtle existence, total subtle manifestation. And that is manifest. And here is simile given. There is Panchagni Upasana, where here it is Agnihi. Murti is born. Agni doesn't mean fire, but Agnihi means heaven, the head. In Panchagni Vidya, Agni is called head, and Dev, he is the head. Heaven is the head of the Purusha. Chakshusi, it is born. Chakshu means Surya Chandra. Sun and the moon are born, and Dishasrotre, they represent the space. A space is born. Vak Vivrutascha Vedaha. Vivrata means well-known Vedas are born. Sadhan Sadhan. Vayu Pranaha doesn't mean nostrils and lungs. The cosmic factor upon which individual senses depend. The cosmic factor upon which all the physiological function. Prana is responsible for all of your physiological function. That force, that is the instrument of Ishvara. Hradayam Vishwamasya. Hradayam, the mind. Hradaya means the mind, the heart is called Vishwam. Means different cognitions of names and form which are known through the mind. And Padbhyam Prithvi, the feet is earth, earth that which supports, and the feet that supports everything else is there. And at the same time, look, he keeps repeating, everything is born from Purusha. At the same time, that Purusha is Sarva Bhutantara. It is I who is there inside. And then Pancham, fifth mantra, he talks of Panchagni Upasana. I had discussed earlier. Tasmad Agnis Samidho Yasya Surya Somat Parjanya Oshadaya Prithivyam Puman Retas Sinchati Yoshitayam Bhafvi Praja Purushat Samprasuta. From Purusha only, Bhafvi Praja, many Prajas are born. Not born. Manifest from Purusha. What does it mean? That means Purusha alone manifests as Prajaha. Okay? From Brahman there is Agni, is born. Agni means heaven. And then whose Samida, whose light is Surya. The Panchagni Upasana is I have talked about. From that, sun, moon is born. The sun is offered into heaven. The moon is born. The moon is offered further, Somat Parjanyaha. Then the rains are born, Parjanyaha. From there, Oshadayaha. Oshadaya means variety of, you can say, plant kingdoms are born. And then Prithivyaam, they are born in the earth. And then Oshadaya Prithivyaam. Then from Annam, Prithvi, there is a fourth is food. And the food, then there is a Pasinchati Yoshitayam, Retaha. The food itself becomes the cause for the embryo in the woman, and then the prajas are born. Okay? This is Panchagni Vidya in Chandogya Upanishad. Deliberate adhyasa, creative process is talked about. We have discussed earlier. And it is from the same Purusha, Tasmad Ruchassam Yajumshi Diksha Yagnascha Sarve Kratavah Dakshinascha Samvatsarascha Yajamanascha Loka Somo Yatra Pavate Yatra Surya. The whole Karma Kanda and its all components and its phalam is also from Purusha. And Karma Kanda is that sadhan sadhya is born out of various karmas and karma phalas, and that is there in Veda. And all these Vedas are from what? Ruchaha Samaha Yajumsi. Samavedaha Giti Pradana. Then what is there? Then Rukvedaha is Niyatapada Akshara. There is a Pada and Akshara, Matra, etc. are fixed. That is Rugveda. Aniyatapada Akshara. The Pada Matras are not Niyata, is Ajurveda, Giti Pradana, Samveda. All these Vedas means Veda mantras are born from this Purusha. Then it is Diksha. Diksha means religious vows. They are also born out of Purusha. Like when you perform Yajna, they have a darba here. They say you have to keep fasting. You have to do this vrata. Like when you give Yagnopavitam to your son, the father has to perform minimum 10,000 Gayatri Japa. That is another one kind of Diksha. That's all vows, religious vows, before rituals, to be followed by Yajamana. They are also born out of Veda. And this is Kratavaha. Kratavaha means all Yajnas, Yajna Yupaha. And then Sarve Dakshinascha, all Dakshina that is to be given by the Yajamana. That is, means it doesn't mean Jiva, actually. Samvatsarascha, the Kala and Jiva. Though we call it Jiva, that Jivatvam is only Aupadika. That is born. Shuddhi accepts Jiva momentarily, incident, doesn't justify the existence of Jiva. And Loka, Karma Phala. In what kind Loka? Somo Yatra Pavate Yatra Surya. That means Dakshayana Gatihi and Uttarayana Gatihi. All the Lokas in Dakshinayana, in all the lokas in Uttarayanam is born out of that. And Tasmacha Devaha Bahudaha Samprasutaha Sadhya Manushyaha Pashavasya Vayamsi Pranapanam Grihi Evau Tapasya Saddha Satyam Brahmacharyam Vidishcha Karmanga Bhutaha Deva. All the Devatas which are the part of the Yagnas. Devatas are the means of worshipping Ishvara indirectly. You can look upon Devata as Ishvara, or you can worship Ishvara through Devata. Either way, Devatas are not really there. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manushyaha Partha Sarvasha. Or we say, Akashat Patitam Toyam Yadha Gacchati Sagaram. Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Prati Gacchati, etc. When we say that, it means this Devaha Prasutaha Purushat Sakashat, all of Karmanga Bhutaha. Those who do not seek me directly, they seek through Devas. People think Devas are God. No, they are not the God. What is a God? Ultimately, Nedam Vyadidam Upas. Tadeva Tad Brahmatvam Vidhi. Nedam Yadidam Shrotras. That which is not worship, that you do upasya is not Brahman, but you are Brahmans. So the Devas are born out of that Purusha. That means you become Deva through Punya. Sadhyaha, in between yonis, Yaksha Kindra Gandharvaha are born. Vrihi Yavav, all the offerings, rice and barley, etc., which is offered into Yajnashala. So these are all born out of Purusha. And tapas, that religious discipline, that which is mandatory to perform Yajna. Purusha Samskara Lakshanam tapas, as well as Ichha Purti Arthe Krutam tapas. that Purusha, that finance or that religious discipline which is to be followed for performance of a given ritual, and religious discipline to fulfill my desire. I want something, arthakama, artharthi, artha, etc., artha, artharthi, that all is born. This tapas includes upasana also. Okay? Prana, panau, bihi, avascha, everything is born out of Purusha. And Satyam, Satyam means all the values. All you can say Samanya Dharmani, the Samanya Dharmas, which is universal things. And Brahmacharyam, that means the disciplining life. And Vidhi, Vidhi means iti kartavya. This has to be done. This is not to be done. It is also born out of same Purusha. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat saptarchisha samida sapta homa sapta ime lokaha yeshu charanti pranaha guhashaya nihita sapta saptaha. That this that archisha etc. we have seen in the first Mundaka, first part, that sapta pranaha means indriyani, man, buddhi and five sense organs. They are born out of Purusha. That and sapta samidaha. Since there are sevenfold of objects, pancha prana means five gnanendriyanis of five vishayas. The vishayam of the manaha, samshaya, etc. And vishayam manam is emotions. And buddhi is cognitions, etc. They are all born out of Brahman. Tasmat saptarchishaha, sapta archishaha, and sapta homaha. So sevenfold vishayas are offered into seven sense organs. That is called seven homas. And that flame of fire, by consumption of a vishaya, given vishaya, the status of the given sense organ is called sapta archisaha. And sapta ime lokaha, all the seven lokas, that buhu, buvaha, suvaha, maha, janaha, tapaha, satyam, atala, vitala, talatal, rasatal, mahatal, patal, down. Seven pap loka, pap yoni loka, and or I can call adoloka, and seven urdhva loka. Yeshu charanti pranaha, charanti pranaha. So that jiva through prana functions in all, goes up and down in the seven worlds, up and down. That is born out of Purusha. And where are the prana? Guha, shaya, nihita, sapta, sapta. They all resolve into mind. Guhasha, guhayam, sherate. So, Purushena dhatra sthapita sarve prana. All the prana is there in the hridayam. Is connection to Katha Upanishad mantra. Madhye vamana vahasit. Urdham prana unnayati apanam pratyagasyati. That respiration and all existence of prana is because of Madhye vamana. That hridayakashaya atma sthiti, as though sitting, and therefore this is guhashaya. And he talks of the Virat Purusha. Atas samudra girayasya sarvasmat asmat chavante sindavaha sarupaha sarvarupaha atasya sarva oshadaya rasasya yenaisha bhutaihi tishtate yantaratma. He says, ataha, from this Paramatmana sakasat, there is a word used here, Paramatma. Antaratma is Paramatma. Sapta samudra, all seven oceans and seven mountains, and Sindavaha, Sindha means that's rivers. The word Sindhu means ocean also, and the word Sindhu also means river. Okay, Syandante, it is Sindhu, that moves, that flows. So all these rivers and etc. are born, and then Atasya Sarva Oshadaya, all Oshadis, means all plants and the tree and the crops, everything is from Ata, from the Purusha. Rasascha, rasa means that content, that nourishing content. The content of the food is called rasam. Okay, not South Indian rasam. Sambar rasam is not that. The content is called rasha. There is basically the poshaka, that which nourishing element in a given fruit or in a given food or in a given grain is called rasam. Okay. Therefore, Purusha anna rasamaya. Rasamaya means vikara of anna rasa. That nourishment, the element which nourishes the body is taken, the food is taken in which the nourishing elements are there, and they modify themselves as different parts. They sustain and they survive. The survival takes place. Anna rasamaya purushaha. And yena bhutaihi tishtati yaha antaratma. Yena rasena, through that rasa, because of tadatmya of rasa, rasakarya, purusha, tishtati, divides as antaratma. And then concludes the section, Purusha evedam vishwam karma tapo brahma paramrutam. Purusha is this vishwa. Whole thing is Purusha. And he says karma, tapaha, brahma, para, amrutam. Everything is Purusha. Yat karyam tajanyam karyatvat gatavat anityam mithya tasman jatam purushat. That is there. And where do I know this Purusha? Earlier it says abhyantara ajaha. Etadyo vedanihitam guhayam. So avidya granthim vikirati iha saumya. Hey saumya, oh beloved one. The one who knows this Purusha in Hriday Guha, that which manifests as aham, aham, aham. That is called Guha. Guha means there is a darkness of ignorance. It is self-revealing, self-existing. But I don't know that self-revealing, self-existing consciousness is Jagat Karanam. I am Satchidananda is not enough. That Satchidananda is Jagat Karanam. I am the cause of entire universe. And the whole universe is mithya. From the standpoint of view, I, that pure consciousness. That is what he says. And that is to be recognized because it manifests as I, through buddhi, through sukshma sharira. Therefore, you veda nihitam guhaya. Nihitam means not placed. Nihitam not hidden. You cannot hide the self-revealing vastu. You cannot hide that limitless vastu. You need a cover which is limitless square. To hide a limitless thing, you need a limitless square. Limitless square is limitless. So you cannot be hidden. It is as though hidden, as though covered by ignorance. Hidden vastu is because of something. It remains hidden. Hidden means not seen. That's all it means, not hidden really. Hidden means you don't see the vastu. Well, I don't see myself as Purna. And what hides it? That is the cause of hiding is self-ignorance. And that is why it is said, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya. One who knows this, the one who knows the Brahman in that Guha, Hriday Guha. Guha is darkness. And darkness is because of ignorance. So Vikirati, he breaks, he removes all the bondage and becomes free. Oh my beloved, that means may you know yourself to be this Brahman. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow also. Thank God. I am available. I have no some pressing commitments, though I am traveling, but I will be able to take this slot out. So we'll continue second Mundaka tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.